Hello, this is Dominic with Easynomics, and we're going to look at our last graph regarding allocative efficiency as applied to an output market. And the applied example we're going to use is the housing market. Here we can see a home price index from 1890 to 2005, and we'll notice the dramatic increase in housing prices as a result of increased demand for housing that really drove up that price. And that created a surplus of housing, which eventually caused the price of housing to collapse. So that's going to be our applied example. So again, we're looking at competitive market equilibrium, the concept of allocative efficiency. In this case, we're going to look at an overallocation of resources. This is scenario 2, market for housing during the 2004, 5, 6, 7, 2008 housing bubble, which led to the 2008 economic crisis. So again, this is a output graph, just to emphasize this. Housing as a final good consumed by households. It's an output graph, and we're going to remember again that the household is composing the demand for housing, and the firm is composed of the supply of housing within this output graph. So let's go ahead and illustrate. Here's our supply of housing. S1 equals to our marginal costs. And then here's our demand for housing. D1 equal to our marginal benefit. And as we saw in that home price index, the housing price was excessively high. So we're going to draw a price set way above what the market equilibrium should be. So we'll have a price set at P1, and as a result, we see that the quantity supplied firms that build housing and apartments really increase in quantity supplied as a result of the incentive from that higher price to point B. So quantity supplied is set at Q2. And remember, that's quantity supplied at Q2. While at that higher price, it's really not affordable for many households. So the quantity of demand is at point A. So here is Q1. We're going to make a note that that is our quantity of demand at the particular price. So let's look at how allocatively efficient this is. In order to do that, we have to pay attention to the quantity supplied at that price. So the price of P1, quantity supplied is here. And we're going to notice that the marginal cost is greater than the marginal benefit. So by definition, that's an overallocation. So at Q2, which is the quantity supplied, we notice that the marginal cost is greater than the marginal benefit. So there is an over allocation of resources to the production of housing, which is far greater than what really is desired by society. So here we're ending up with excess supply. Since quantity supplied is greater than quantity demanded, we have excess supply. Too many homes being built. When we have excess supply or an overallocation, it puts downward pressure on price. So price is going to begin to fall. And it falls eventually to point C. So it's going to go from P1 to P2. Housing prices will collapse, unfortunately. And the quantity supply and demand will reach a new equilibrium at Q3. As the price falls, the quantity supply decreases from point B to C, or from Q2 to Q3, while quantity demanded increases from point A to C, or from Q1 to Q3 until we reach a new equilibrium at point C. And at point C, we're going to remember or notice that MC equals MB, which is allocatively efficient. Okay, let's also highlight the welfare loss that's created at Q2. So this triangular area, which I'm going to highlight, illustrates the welfare loss that is generated from housing or construction companies producing way too much housing versus what is really desired by society. And that welfare loss will be eliminated as the price falls, quantity supply decreases, quantity demand increases until we're at point C. Okay? So let's go ahead and analyze this as we would on a paper 1 exam. As can be seen, we have a graph A, illustrating the market for housing, which is an output. On the x-axis, we're measuring quantity. On the y-axis, we're measuring price. We have an upward sloping supply curve labeled S1, which is equal to the marginal costs of production. We have a downward sloping demand curve labeled D1, which is equal to the marginal benefit. We have a price first set at P1, and at a price of P1, the quantity supplied is at point B, or at Q2, while the quantity demanded by households is at Q1, or point A. We notice that at a price of P1 that the quantity supplied at Q2 is greater than the quantity demanded at Q1, meaning that there's excess supply. We'll also notice that at Q2, the marginal cost is greater than the marginal benefit. The marginal cost is greater than the marginal benefit, generating a welfare loss. Too many resources are being allocated to producing an excess quantity of housing versus what is really desired by society. The excess supply puts downward pressure on price, so price begins to fall for housing from P1 to P2. This leads to a reduction in the quantity supplied from point B to point C along the supply curve, or from Q2 to Q3, and that increases the quantity demanded from Q1 to Q3, or from point A to point C along the demand curve, until we see that where S1 equals D1, a new equilibrium price is established at P2 with a new equilibrium quantity at Q3, where quantity supplied equals quantity demanded, and where marginal cost equals marginal benefit to achieve an allocatively efficient outcome. Okay, so that's it. If you have any questions, just feel free to comment, and don't forget to like or subscribe. That's it. Thank you so much.